Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
What's up? Back in studio with the spirit animal Justin Lanza, talking about Comedy Fight Club 20, biggest tournament we've ever done at Fight Club. 8 of the top battlers who've never been Fight Club champion, competing for a shot to be in the main event at Skankfest to compete for the Comedy Fight Club championship. Right now, we're going to talk about Chloe McGovern.
Chloe McGovern, man, what a mean person, you know?
Mean little girl. Yes.
She's very mean.
Yes.
You know, she's not afraid. She's not afraid to lay it out there. And I think there's something to be said about somebody, because we all want to make everybody feel good. That's one of the key balances in roasting. But you really have to give Chloe a lot of benefit of the doubt, because she is uncompromisingly mean, which is something that as comedians who see a ton of roasts, I think we can really appreciate.
I do also, there's Chloe McGovern, yes.
Oh, yes.
I do feel the need to say, I know Chloe offstage. She's actually super nice.
Right.
But when she roasts, it's like, it's vicious.
Oh, it's mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll pinpoint your weakness and she'll tear you down. Also, knowing her rocky sexual history, she will never...
Rocky sexual history.
She will never... Considering that and the fact that she will never walk away from a good rape joke,
yes,
is really just, I mean, I know it sounds silly to say that gets the utmost respect.
Yes.
In the roasting community.
Yeah, someone who's open about the fact they've been sexually assaulted, and then we just come on the air and say, boy, that sounded kind of rocky.
Yeah. And then still...
Your sexual assault was a real rocky experience.
Yeah, that was... she had a real tough go at it, for a while there. I mean...
Yeah.
Ooh, it ain't easy. No. But to still, for her to sit down and like have this joke and just to think like, I cannot walk away from saying this. I still have to say it. I think that's something that's really beautiful.
She's had some of the craziest comebacks to jokes. She knows that's going to get thrown at her in roasts, and she's prepared for it. She's one of our meanest battlers, and also one of the nicest people. I think the best roasters usually are actually nice people.
I think so.
But they can actually tap into the meanness, because they don't get to that often.
Yeah. This is art.
Yes.
This is art, people. All right?
So I'm going to sit down in studio. I'm going to interview Chloe McGovern. We're going to talk to her about this tournament. First round, she's facing Isabel Hagen.
Yes.
She's facing Isabel Hagen in the first round. So I'm going to sit down with Chloe, and I'm going to talk to her about that battle and this tournament and being mean. All right, what's up? Here with Chloe McGovern.
What's up?
Chloe in Comedy Fight Club 20. You're going to be facing Isabel Hagen in round one of our meanest, most vicious roasters, Chloe.
Can't wait.
How'd you get so mean?
I just see the world as it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I
tell like I see it.
I think I've known you probably longer than most comedians that I know, because I met you when you just started in Los Angeles, and you visited New York when you were like 19. And I remember I met you then.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Art Cafe.
God, that was awful. I was in like Brooklyn or something. I think I passed by that venue at some point.
Yeah, I remember.
Where is it again?
It's right by. It's not far from Barclays Center.
Yeah, I've definitely walked by recently.
Yeah, I remember meeting you there. You were in LA. You were 19, and it was just like, I wish I started when I was 21, which is still young, but I was like seeing someone 18 or 19 starting. I'm like, God, you're gonna be so funny.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Well, I made enough mistakes in my career that I definitely needed the extra time.
Yes. But yeah, so you started. How old were you when you? And you're like 25 now, I think.
24. How dare you?
Now. Sorry. You look 24.
Okay, I thought you were about to say you look 25, and I was like, well, I'm tired.
Yes.
I started when I was 19.
Yeah.
And now I am 24.
Yes. When did you move to New York?
When I was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you moved around a lot. You were like Connecticut, Arizona.
Yeah.
And then moved to LA to start doing stand-up when you were like 18, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, the first year I was in LA, though, I didn't know how I wanted to do comedy. I just knew I wanted to do comedy.
Yeah.
And so I did like improv classes, screenwriting classes, pilot
really
writing
didn't
classes.
know how to do comedy?
No. Well, because stand-up was the scariest one, and it's easiest to get introduced through like a class. And that's how I felt like I was still doing college, was by like, oh, I'm in a class, like anytime someone asked. But improv, I respect people who are really good at it. Improv 101 in LA is mostly actors trying to get a notch on their belt.
Yeah.
And screenwriting is just full of a bunch of pretentious douchebags. And then I went to stand up and I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was, I'd say, what, like 3 or so years into stand up when you started doing the roasts?
3.5. Yeah, because I'm around
years,
like 5. I feel like I haven't been doing roasts for more than a year and a half.
How did you
Yeah,
feel
year
when
and
you
a half.
first started doing them?
Fantastic. I think my first one went really well. It was against David Piccolomini, if I remember correctly. No, my first one was against... I had one against David and then one against Katie Boyle.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
The one against Katie. Katie is so hard to roast because she's so fucking likable that like... it's so hard to get her with anything. And then at that point too, I was just kind of reading off a sheet of paper and I'll still read my jokes when I'm on stage off of a paper, but now I know that delivery is very important and what your energy is on stage. And I remember, I think Big J commented that I looked like a little girl, like reading her poem.
That's great. What are some of the battles that you've had that you like, are some of your favorite ones?
David Piccolomini, Anya.
Anya Volz, the roast
Anya
masters.
Volz.
That was a really good one.
That was the one that it like solidified my spot on the mat.
Okay, what can I say about Chloe that hasn't already been said about me? We're both feminists. We're both queer. We were both raped as teenagers. But what really sets Chloe apart is that she deserved it.
First blood. Holy shit. Perfect.
Anya, you titless boy wonder. The only reason you became a comedian is because you didn't have the high school diploma it takes to become a blogger. Chloe moved around a lot as a kid. She was born in Arizona, grew up in Connecticut, moved to LA when she was 18. But what's really cool is that she brought a little piece of each place with her everywhere she went. She has the body of a teen mom from Arizona. She has the repelling personality of a white woman from Connecticut. And she has the herpes of all of Los Angeles. Anya often gets mistaken for a boy while walking down the street and a woman while doing comedy. And that... I still have in the LGBT community, she's what's known as a no thank you on the Kinsey scale. Thank you, you anthropomorphized roofie. For someone who spent so long in LA, you wouldn't believe it, but Chloe got no work done on her face or body. But she also got no work, so... Okay. Well, cool haircut, Napoleon Dynamite. Maybe if you shaved your pussy as often as you shaved your head, you wouldn't have to be in an open relationship with your fat boyfriends. Give it up for this articulate child prostitute. Chloe, has anyone ever told you you should do porn? You don't have the face or body for it, don't get me wrong, but you do have the fatherless childhood that would be perfect for it. Anya thinks I'm confused about my sexuality because I don't want to fuck her Bush League pussy. Anya, you look like Kevin Spacey carved his dream boy out of tofu.
Give me a hell yeah!
A lot of people think Chloe is a bitch when they first meet her, but not enough people give her a credit for what a bitch she is all the rest of the time, too. Chloe, you're so unpleasant to be around. Your forehead and your herpes don't even factor into why nobody wants to fuck you.
All right. No matter what happens, tonight will end like most of your sexual encounters. Win or lose, you'll get to walk away offended by something you knew you were walking into.
You do have kind of an advantage going into these battles, I think, because you know exactly what's coming at you. What jokes
Pretty
are
much
said about you.
Yeah, I'm like a little surprised at some things that haven't been said, I guess. The only people who really make me nervous are like your Mia Faith Hammonds, who are so far out of left field. You have no idea what they're going to say about you. So when she kept calling me a smelly, smelly rape victim, it's like, okay, well, I knew the rape was coming, but
I mean, if you don't want to get rape jokes, you shouldn't have gotten raped.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
You were asking for the rape jokes.
I was asking for the rape jokes, and I shouldn't have been, shot my big fat rape mouth off about it.
And you talk about your sexual assault in your stand-up act also, right?
Yeah, that's why it was include. I wouldn't like just toss it into my roast jokes.
Right. No, I just
roast
mean,
bio.
I mean,
but I talked about it in my stand-up.
I mean, as far as for people who are watching who haven't or who aren't comics or haven't done a roast before, the idea of something that serious happening to you and then it being thrown at you and you being okay with it, or did it hit you hard when you first had those jokes said about you?
It's really like sad, but only when I bomb does it like bother me.
Oh, so if you don't do well and someone made fun of your rape, they're like, I can't believe they did that.
And that's it. Well, not like yeah, I mean essentially it's just like it's just a pouty loser way to feel, but it's like when it accumulates over time, sometimes you do wonder. It's like, oh, why is the audience laughing like this? Are they laughing because they're like, oh, joke structure, that was clever? Or are they laughing because they're like, finally a rape victim is getting her due? Women do lie. So yeah, that sometimes gets in my head. But also like my last battle against Dan Wicks, I think I had some pretty strong comebacks against it. So it's also a way of like, hey, we're putting this out there. I'm putting all cards on the table. And I hit you back harder, and the audience really, like, you could tell from their response they wanted to see me come back at you and like have that victory. So that was satisfying.
It can be a little bit of an advantage because you can plan comebacks for the sexual assault or herpes jokes.
You're setting a trap for someone. You're doing a little checkmate on them where it's like, if you don't bring up the rape, you might lose some of your strongest jokes, but if you do, you risk me coming at you.
Has it helped doing jokes about it? I would assume maybe in your stand-up had more than roast jokes about it, but has it helped you emotionally cope with it that's happened to you? That's the way I think a lot of comics are. When something dark happens, be able to make jokes about it.
Yeah, it helps your brain literally rewire itself to not think of the event as positive, but to like have positive associations with it, which I guess is not to say like it was good that I got raped, but like.
But if you think about your sexual assault instead of necessarily thinking about that night, you may think about a good joke about it.
Yeah, or that some of my biggest fears weren't true. Like I remember when I first started doing the joke, I think the biggest fear that most people have when coming forward about rape is that they'll be socially exiled in some way.
Yeah.
And I remember sort of having some like dissociative episodes when I first initially started doing the joke, which means like I didn't really feel fully in my body after I had finished it. And so you have to do certain things to ground yourself. And it was literally like, okay, look into Jack Comstock's eyes, smile, and say goodbye. And you're like narrating yourself doing that, where you're like, control, okay, do this. And I remember just going through that process of being like, oh, he returned my smile and made eye contact and said goodbye to me after I said, that means I am still socially included. And then doing that over and over again, and then eventually building that joke to the point where it like started destroying. Like,
it is weird. That seems like something that would make me. That would never make me not want to talk to someone going forward about that. I mean, the herpes jokes, maybe.
There are sometimes, because I mean, we've all sat through like very vulnerable bombs when people just come on stage and they're like, this is my trauma. And you're just like, and you're like, ugh,
Yeah.
was
Oh, okay,
what is
that's
this,
fair.
spoken word night? All right.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit nervous about that, or of people just being like, man, it sucks that happened to Chloe, but she is losing her mind.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was afraid of too.
Yeah. I do remember the last time you did Fight Club, you've been one of our officials a few times.
Yeah.
And I think I did a herpes joke in the beginning. You're like, oh no, now none of the men here will want to fuck me.
Yeah.
All the men in the basement of Lucky Jack's that I was looking for.
Yeah, God damn it. I was here to have sex tonight and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing with like saying that I have herpes too. I was like, maybe less people will want to fuck me. Maybe it didn't stop anyone, but it,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I remember one time we did a roast together. The one in it was in Midtown, but it was a Jersey comic like radio host. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he asked me for my bio. I thought he wanted my bio as in like
Yes.
this, how we exchange it on Comedy Fight Club.
I thought so as well.
So I was like, okay, so here are my 3 things. I have herpes, I've been raped, and I'm, what did I say? Like from Connecticut.
Yeah, just like things so that people could have info about you to roast because we didn't know some of the people on the show.
And so they introduced me by being like, this next comic, why would you say this, has herpes and has been raped. Give it up for Chloe McGovern.
It's like reading that as if it was your actual bio that he was supposed to recite. I think they just gave the host the bios that we all sent him, and he was like,
Yeah, for every
why is this in your bio?
for every show now when they ask me for a credit, I'm just gonna be like, do Chloe McGovern parentheses raped.
But do you know Isabel that well?
Yeah, I know her pretty decent. Like I always talk to her when I see her. We're not like best friends, but I definitely like respect her a lot as a comedian. She's like an incredible joke writer. I definitely think she's gonna have quite a few zingers for me. And she might, I think I could get a few angles on her, but she might be a hard one to roast because I think she is a really likable girl.
She's a feisty viola player.
She's a feisty little viola player.
Yes.
I think the aesthetic of the battle is going to look like the mean girl bullying the average girl,
You think
if that's
so?
okay to say. Isabel, you're stunning, but
Isabel, the average girl.
that's the narrative that will
Yes.
play out. So if I dress it down, if
Yeah.
I like don't wear makeup and throw my hair up in a bun and like wear a
Yeah.
flannel, I could
Yes.
maybe take that
Even it
power
out.
away
There
from the
you go.
battle. So I might have to do that.
Awesome. I'm excited for it. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining me, Chloe.
Thanks, Matt.
So that's Chloe McGovern. She's going to be facing Isabel Hagen in the first round of this tournament. How do you feel like that's going to go, Justin?
I think it's going to be a great round. I have to give the edge to Chloe. I think Chloe's going to knock it out.
Isabel will hate you once again.
That's you know what?
Have you ever once picked Isabel to win a fight?
You know, I have not, and I've been wrong twice, but
This is the third time's the charm.
third time is the charm. I think Isabel is going to lose, and I'm not saying it's because she's a natural-born loser.
Right.
I'm not saying that, Matt Maran.
That's not what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I want to be
here.
very clear.
Right.
I am not saying that Isabel Hagen is a natural-born loser. All right, she's
Right.
she's very skilled in other
Gotcha.
places. She can play instruments that no one cares about.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
She can do that.
She can do that. She can wear all black and hide in the shadows and cry softly.
Yes, she
These are
can do
things that Isabel can do very
Yes.
well.
You're complimenting her a lot right now.
I feel like I'm gushing a little.
A little
and this
bit.
might be a
you may
little
want
bit
to tone
much.
it down a little.
Yeah, I don't want her to think that like I have a thing for her because
Right.
I would never date Isabel. But
Right.
I think
Glad we clarified that.
yes. But yeah, I think Chloe is going to mop the floor with that hack.
That's Chloe McGovern, guys. Thank you for watching.